But first, betting agencies still have the coalition as slight favourites to form government, despite the latest news poll showing Labor leading the coalition 51 to 49% on the two-party preferred vote. And that lead is despite the fact voters rated Jim Chalmers' budget as the worst by an Australian treasurer in a decade.
And the poll puts Labor within striking distance of forming a majority and confirms a YouGov poll, also released today, that has Labor on track to come within one seat of forming a majority. It represents a stunning turnaround for Labor, who in the same poll just a month ago were trailing badly.
The YouGov polling showed that we were on 75 seats. The previous polling showed we were on, I'm not sure what the number was, but it certainly wasn't that. I may leave others to comment on polling. My focus is on winning, not just the 78 seats we hold, but winning additional seats as well.
It's quite amazing that Labor are now leading in the polling, despite the fact only 16% of respondents thought the budget would actually help them financially. But then again, 38% of people doubted that the coalition would have come up with a better budget themselves. So I'm not sure if this is Labor doing really well or the coalition managing to, snatch victory from defeat rather from the jaws of victory. Albanese's leading in the approval ratings as well, which is another turnaround. So Labor are leading. Albanese is seen as a better leader of the country. There's a lot of work for the Liberals to do, although I do wonder if this poll was maybe conducted in Trades Hall, because when you get out and about talking to people, there's not a lot of people you talk to who are happy with the way the country is going or who are saying, we can't wait to vote Anthony Albanese back in. Still 5 weeks to go, but the coalition have got a lot of work ahead of them. And I'll just point this out, Danica. The election, of course, is interrupted by Easter holidays. So the challenge for Dutton is to regain momentum, but then to keep momentum despite the fact that the campaign is punctuated by holidays.
Well, it's not just Easter, it's also Anzac Day, long weekend, it's also school holidays as well. So it's definitely one of the most disrupted campaigns we've had. It is true, we do have 5 weeks. 5 weeks is a very long time in politics. I thought it was interesting in this poll that they rated Jim Chalmers the worst budget in a decade. But don't forget, there is no coincidence in the fact that Anthony Albanese called that election the morning after the budget reply speech was handed down. And in my opinion, that was an admission of failure by the Albanese government, because normally they have 1 week to go out and sell their budget, but they really wanted to take out the shine out of Peter Dutton's speech. And he did obviously offer that policy of cutting the fuel excise. So no doubt that that was deliberate. But look, it's going to be hard for the coalition. We can't deny that. I mean, Peter Dutton faces a 22-seat gain target to win the election in his own right, in a majority. And that is a bigger seat gain than Scott Morrison's seat loss back in 2022. We know generally people do like to stick with the first term, the incumbent, so that factor also obviously goes against him. But the reality is, despite these polls, we have seen polls lately that show that the majority of the country say that they are unhappy with the way that where things are going. They're worried about cost of living, and they believe that Anthony Albanese has not done what he set out to achieve. Look, it's not. Peter Dutton also has to now go out and convince voters why he is the one to take charge.
Correct.
It's about an image he's got to portray. And it comes through with credible policies as well. It's this immediate relief with the fuel excise versus Labor, which are going to have to go out and sell to Middle Australia, that they're not going to get any relief. And when they do get relief, it's going to be $5 a week, but in 15 months' time.
Well, it's funny the way this campaign is being conducted, because if you heard Anthony Albanese, this is his sales pitch, right? Things could be worse.
Yeah.
Like if the coalition win government, it'll be even worse. So Anthony Albanese isn't even trying to convince people that they're doing really well. Everybody knows they're not. His pitch is that if you elect the coalition, things will be worse than they currently are. The whole campaign now falls back on Peter Dutton convincing people that the coalition can manage rather than simply oppose. That's the challenge.
But also the other thing that Anthony Albanese is running with, his line on Friday when he made his pitch to voters when he announced the election date was turning a corner. So he's trying to give this optimistic spin, like the economy's doing really well, we're doing so well, and together, come with us on this journey. Where realistically, what corner is he turning? I think he's actually backed most Australians into a corner, James. The only other thing that I would say is that I think that Peter Dutton could do with trying to appeal with a younger audience as well. I think that Look, I don't agree with Anthony Albanese's strategy of going on these sex and lifestyle podcasts. He did one last week where he came up with that line of Delulu or Salulu, whatever that line was.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like the fact that he's going on these sorts of podcasts, but if you look at what Donald Trump did in the US when he went on Joe Rogan, he actually appealed to that younger vote. He appealed to the younger male audience. And I think that Peter Dutton can get that younger male audience vote, but it's as well as he's got to try and win over the female vote. And I think that could come in the form of trying to do more younger social media strategies.
Well, on appealing to younger people, I mean, the coalition are winning in terms of social media views. So they're doing quite well on social media.
Yeah.
Where I think Anthony Albanese is winning with younger voters is that promise to slash by 20% student debt.
Hex.
And
it's the hex.
I've got a uni student in my home.
Correct.
And he quite likes that idea. He will not be voting for Labor, but
you'll make sure.
But he quite likes the idea of cutting the HEX debt.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.